everyone, I'm Sarah of Rich Textures Crochet and welcome. Today we're going to learn how to crochet the wheat stitch. Now this stitch, as you can see, it does have a little bit of open work to it, but it also has lots and lots of texture. It's similar to some of the other herringbone or chevron patterns in these little arrowhead designs that kind of run across, but again, it's not quite as thick. It's a great candidate if you'd like a texture shawl or a blanket, or even a nice sweater, cardigan, or other wearable. So today for our tutorial, we're going to be using a 5mm or an H8 crochet hook, as well as some cotton yarn, and this is the Pima Cotton by Lion brand. There'll be links to these items in the description of this video. Also down there in the description you'll find a direct link to the free written instructions, which are on richtexturescrochet.com. So thank you so much for joining me. While you're here, I invite you to subscribe, take a look around. This channel is updated every single week with free crochet patterns and stitch tutorials. Now our stitch today is worked in rows. We're going to start by making a slip knot, and then by working a foundation chain, and your foundation chain today will need to be a multiple of 6 stitches plus 9. So we'll start with our multiple of 6. There's 24. We're then going to chain 9 more. And 33. Once you have that foundation chain worked, you're going to work row 1 by working a double crochet into the 4th chain from your hook. And your chain 3 at the beginning does count as a stitch. You're then going to double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. That gives you a total of 6 stitches, including that chain 3 at the start. You're then going to chain 1, skip the next chain, and work a double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. You're now going to repeat that all the way across. Chain 1, skip the next chain, and work a double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. Repeat this all the way across, and you're going to finish off by working a double crochet into that final stitch. So you'll finish off with a double crochet into each of the final 6 stitches. So I'm here at the end of my row 1. I've worked a double crochet in each of the next 5. I'm going to work one final double crochet into that final stitch. You can then chain 1 and turn your work. Your chain 1 does not count as a stitch. For row 2, we're going to single crochet into each stitch and each chain space all the way across. So beginning with that first stitch right at the base of our turning chain, single crochet into that first stitch and into each of the next 5 stitches. Then when you come to the chain space, you're just going to insert your hook into that space and work your single crochet and then continue all the way across. Continue all the way across working your single crochets, remembering to work your final single crochet stitch into the top of your turning chain 3. At the end of your row 2, you're finishing off by working the single crochet into the top of your starting chain 3. You can then chain 3 and turn your work. You'll remember that this chain 3 counts as a stitch. Now for row 3, we're going to begin working some of that beautiful texture that we saw there at the start. So what we're going to do is we're going to begin by skipping the first 3 stitches. So skip the stitch at the base of your turning chain, skip the next 2 stitches. You're then going to work a front post triple stitch around the post of the next stitch, but 2 rows below. So yarn over twice, skip those first 3 stitches, then work a front post triple around the post of the next stitch, but 2 rows below. So we're working around those double crochet stitches. You're going to yarn over twice, bring your hook in front of your work and insert your hook around the post of that next double crochet 2 rows below, from front through to back, out through the front. Yarn over, draw up a loop, and yarn over and pull through 2 loops 3 times. That's your front post triple stitch. Now skipping the stitch directly in behind that triple stitch, so that's the next stitch in our previous row, we're going to skip it. You're then going to work a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. There's 1, 2, and 3. Next, work a front post triple stitch around the post of the same stitch as your previous front post triple. So bring your hook in front of your work and back, or insert it around the post of that same stitch and work your front post triple stitch. Chain 1. Next, you're going to skip the next 4 stitches of the previous row. So looking at the top of our work here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Skip those 4 stitches. You're then going to work a front post triple stitch around the post of the next stitch, but 2 rows below. So once again around the double crochet. This will be the 3rd double crochet in that set of 5. So front post triple. Then, once again, skipping that stitch directly in behind, and if you'd like, if it makes it easier, you can skip 3 stitches in your previous row, but you're going to work a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Work a front post double crochet, but front post triple crochet, working around the post of the same stitch as that previous front post triple. You're going to repeat this all the way across. Chain 1, skip the next 4 stitches, and work a front post triple stitch around the post of the next stitch 2 rows below. You're then going to skip the stitches directly behind that set, so you're going to skip the next 3 of that previous row, and then work a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Front post triple around the post of the same stitch, 2 rows below, and repeat all the way across. Chain 1, front post triple, double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches of your previous row, front post triple around the same post of the same stitch, and chain 1. When you come all the way across, you're going to work that next front post triple around the post of the 3rd stitch in that final set of 6. Work your double crochets in each of the next 3 stitches. Work a front post triple stitch around the same stitch, the post, 2 rows below, and then you're simply going to finish off with a double crochet into the final stitch. That brings you to the end of your row 3. You can chain 1 and turn your work. Now for row 4, you're simply going to work a single crochet into each stitch and each chain 1 space all the way across. Once you come all the way across, remember to work your final single crochet into the top of your turning chain. You can then chain 3 and turn your work. Now, as far as the repeats in this pattern are concerned, that is it. For the rest of the pattern, you're simply going to repeat your rows 3 and 4. I'm just going to show you what it looks like now that we are in the first of our repeat rows. So we have our chain 3. We want to skip the first 3 stitches and then work a front post triple stitch around the post of the next stitch but 2 rows below. So this stitch is going to be directly in the middle of that V-stitch 2 rows below. Up top, you're skipping the stitch directly behind and working a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. And then work a front post triple around the same stitch as your previous front post triple. Chain 1. You can then work a front post triple stitch around the 3rd post of that next set of 5, again directly in the center of that previous V. Up top, skip those next 3 stitches and work a double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Front post triple around the same stitch as the previous post. Repeat that all the way across, finishing off with that double crochet in the final stitch. Chain 1, turn your work, work your row of single crochet, and that's all there is to working this beautiful textured wheat stitch. So thank you so much for joining me, and once again I invite you to take a look around. Don't forget to subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you again next week for another great stitch tutorial. Until then, happy crocheting. Bye.